So this morning, I am welcomed by Annie and Mickey, both previous former Gower employees that joined Flowtech 3 years ago today.
God, 3 years.
And so what I wanted to do was I wanted just to have a quick fire round, a couple of questions with you, just to understand what the last 3 years have been like. How's it been for you? And so I just want to start off with Annie, if you could just introduce yourself and just tell us about your role today and what your role was back in Gower 3 years ago.
I'm Annie, and I'm the Projects Team Manager. So I oversee the whole projects department. Back when it was Gower, I was the receptionist officially, but I covered lots of different things, helped making phone systems and ordering and broadband and all of that. And then you guys came in and went, I think you're suited project management. So I started as a project manager, then I was a team leader, and now overseeing a team of 7
Cool.
managers.
Okay, and what about you, Mickey? I know officially your name is Michael, but we all call you Mickey. So
Yes.
Mickey, I'll let you introduce yourself as Mickey.
My name's Mickey. I'm one of the senior account managers here at Flowtech. I started off, be 16 years in July.
Wow.
When I started with Gower as basically an apprentice with a screwdriver and going out to a solicitor to swap out a CD-ROM drive. So my journey has changed drastically since I started in the industry.
Brilliant, thank you. And so, Mickey, I'll start with you on this one, but I just wanted to cast your mind back to the day, 4th of July, 2022. Malcolm, Dave and myself, we walk in after Mark Bowling and Mark Wyatt both told you that the business had been sold. And guess what? The 3 new guys are about to rock up and introduce themselves. So I'd love to know what was going through your head at the moment, and you can be brutally honest,
There was a lot of questions.
Was that about Dave's dress sense?
No, Dave's dress sense was alright in all fairness to him. It was, and he does shave. But it was more the change.
Yeah.
I adapt, but it takes me a bit of a time to do things, and it was more of, it wasn't something that we were all expecting, to stand there and us all have a chat and it be explained that this is what's happening. And sort of as that was happening, then the following question of the new management team are here to introduce themselves. It was very much wow, this is a complete whirlwind moment as to what's happening.
Yeah, wow, okay. What about yourself, Annie?
Yeah, it was just shock, completely. I wasn't expecting them to say that. I knew they were quieting things down, but it's always like, oh, okay, that's happening right now. And it was emotional because Mark and Mark were quite emotional telling us, that they were stepping away. And then it was, oh yeah, they're here. So it's quick, smile.
It's that thing that like it's their baby, 1991 Gower Business Systems was formed. So, when I suppose it's that letting go of your baby, really, isn't it, in some ways?
Yeah. No, I absolutely can imagine on it. And so, Annie, how would you describe your journey over the past 3 years, professionally and personally?
Yes, as I said, I've completely changed my role. So huge professional development, and personally just so much confidence I've gained from, I guess, the support from all the directors, and the confidence that they show in me and the trust they put in me to just put things into place and make change, and that's really nice.
Cool. I can imagine, look, 3 years, it's not always amazing times, there's hard times, there's times where you sort of question things, right? But have you always had that support in that 3 years as well?
Yeah. Even when it's really busy and you're the only project manager and your queue's getting up in the numbers and you think, right, how can I get this done? And Malcolm will be there and he'll be like, right, let's get stuck in and let's clear it together. And it's really nice having that support there.
Nice.
I think as well, it's more that we have got a very strong leadership team, and night or day you can message, and there's been lots of times where I've messaged and I've had challenges and I'm not sure where to turn.
Yeah.
And knowing that there is that team of people who want to sort of nurture and get the best out of you, who are willing to literally do anything for you to help you.
Yeah.
Like that you can't pay for that.
Cool. And so follow that, Mickey. How would you describe your journey over the past few years then, professionally and personally?
it's unimaginable really from where I was 3 years ago. I remember being in one side of the office to then move over to another side, completely changing my role. Still to this day learning that I shouldn't be trying to do any tech stuff. I should be letting it to letting the right people do it. It's you know, work-wise it's been unbelievable, but even on a personal level as well, it's life-changing.
It's nice that we've done it together.
Yeah.
Well, how closely we worked all those years ago, and we're still working together and living and growing together now.
Love it, thank you. And so, Mickey, what's been your biggest highlight or proudest moment since joining the wider team?
I think there's been so many different things that have happened in the 3 years. It's scary to think it's only 3 years. You know, you could argue like it's been 7 or 8 years.
So much longer. Yeah.
But for me, I think it was more give myself the self-confidence with a tender that we won sort of coming up to 12, 18 months ago. I remember spending like 2 weeks in an evening writing this tender out, thinking like, is this real about what I'm doing? And I remember showing it to you and saying, this is what I'm going for. And you asking me like, is this correct? That moment of us winning that, or getting awarded that tender was, for me, it gave me a lot of self-confidence actually in terms of I do know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it was right for that client.
Excellent. And yourself, Anne?
I think getting my CompTIA Project Plus certification was a bit of an achievement. I'm always a learner. I love learning, but it is tough when you are doing a full-time job and you're learning outside of that.
Yeah.
And juggling the two was sometimes challenging, but I think that was a great qualification to get because it has really helped the day-to-day. And sometimes you do the courses and you know, they're fine, but there was so much practicality, so many practical elements that I could put into my day-to-day, and that just made things better as well, and just made me really enjoy coming to work. And
you've always been a structured person as well.
very
This is
structured
quite
process person.
Yeah, you know, years ago you've always been the one telling me where's this, where's that, and
I do this.
and you still doing it now.
Yeah, no, good. And I think that one of our values that we released recently is all about, you know, learn and grow. And so it's really nice to see that's actually, you know, one of your personal achievements on it as well. So I think that's a real testament, isn't it, to how you've embraced that culture and grown within the organisation. And so, Annie, a question for you then. What would you say to somebody who is in your shoes 3 years ago and unsure about what this acquisition might mean for them? Because, you know, let's be honest, you know, it's scary. High emotions go through your mind, you know, is my job safe? You know, what's going to happen to me? So what would you say to somebody listening to this video, you know, video podcast, and thinking to themselves, you know, I'm in Annie's position right now, what would you say to them?
I think just stay open and try and be positive about it and look at it that it's going to be a good experience for you. You know, it is overwhelming at the start and you're thinking, right, where do I fit? But I think just have those conversations with the team and know that you're growing into a bigger company who are there to support you and that they are looking after you.
Yeah.
And it makes things better really, because you could be juggling loads of different aspects. You know, I was doing the billing and that was not something I enjoyed, and then they went, yeah, you're never doing that again. So I was like, brilliant, that's great, that's like something that I want to hear. So just try and be open and embrace it and get stuck in.
Fantastic. And what about yourself, Mickey?
I think it's as well trust. And I remember 3 words that
another value of Flowtech, might I just add?
Yes.
Trust.
It's also part of the 3 letters of the Flowtech.
Very true.
But I think for me that I remember, you know, always being told, trust the process, don't worry, trust the process. And I think what, you know, going back to this, you know, 3 years ago, that worry and panic of what's happening, job security, what's going to change. You know, Mark and Mark, it was their baby, as I said. They met a team who saw the same values of what Gower was based on, and that Mark and Mark had the trust and confidence to give their baby to someone else to carry on that you know, the business and those values. So I'd say to anyone sort of in the situation that me and Annie were in, that if your former directors have got the trust and the confidence that the new management team are going to follow those values, then you know that's a good thing.
Yeah, brilliant answer. And so, if you could sum up the last 3 years in one word or phrase, what would it be, and why, Mickey?
I'd say a roller coaster.
And why?
Because there's a lot of highs. There are some challenges now and again, naturally, as you know, normal day-to-day things, and that's whether that's business related or even personal related, because everything's in one go. But I got to be honest, it's a ride I don't want to get off.
Brilliant answer. And what about you, Annie?
Whirlwind, but like in the best way. It's just, it's fast and it's great, and every day goes so quickly. But it's really good.
Excellent. Okay, I love that. And look, my final question, one of the most important questions I think you're both waiting for, is if you could pick any director out of the 6 directors other than your line manager, who would you pick? Annie, I'll start with you.
Can't pick.
As your favourite.
Can't pick.
Can't pick.
They're all the best.
Next up.
You want me to say you, didn't you?
No, not so. No. Look, I just want to say thank you both. Look, it's been brilliant to interview you both. Thank you for the last 3 years. It has been a roller coaster. It has been a whirlwind, but we've gone through it together, and I really enjoyed it personally. I know the other 5 directors all have as well. So just a massive thank you to you both, and to all, to all the customers of Gower, all the partners of Gower. And it's been a brilliant acquisition. We've really grown the business the last 3 years. We've actually grown it by 105% in the last 3 years, which is pretty statistically amazing. But I just think that we've done some great things with the business as well. So yeah, let's on to the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Look forward to it.
There you go.
Thank you.